Okay, hello everybody. So today we're going to talk about structure and what structure means for your dog. So a lot of people contact me and they tell me about the problems that they're having with their dog, and I suggest that the dog probably needs some structure. And a lot of people don't really know what exactly structure entails. So the opposite of structure is chaos. A dog that doesn't have structure is the dog that is stealing food off the tables, the dog that is jumping on guests in the house, it's the dog that is chewing on whatever they want, and they have pretty much free reign to do whatever they want. So structure means giving some rules to the dogs. The number one way that I suggest we add structure to a dog is by kennel training a dog. And not just kennel training a dog, but teaching them to go in and out of their kennel on their own. I hear all the time, well, I don't want to cage my dog up. My dog doesn't like being encaged. I wouldn't want to be, enclosed in a cage all the time. Well, if you look at it from a dog's perspective, think about where does your dog go when they get scared, when they get tired, when they want to rest? They go under things, in things, behind things. They squeeze behind the couch, under the bed, behind the table. They try and get in the smallest, most enclosed space they can because that's where they're comfortable. And this is really a safety feature for your dog. I prefer a plastic kennel. This one is a used kennel that we got off of Craigslist for I think $10. So you can get them all the time. You can train your dog to go in and out on command. So Creeper likes this kennel, as you can see. I didn't even tell him to go in there. Creeper, out. Good. Creeper, kennel. Creeper, kennel. Good. Now, when I tell him to go in there, I expect him to stay in there regardless of whether I have the door open or closed. Obviously, if we leave, the door gets shut. Now, if you've got a really hyperactive dog, and when you first start this out, you can't expect him to do that. Look at that. I even dropped a piece of food and he stayed. Good. There it is. Go find it. So, anyways, how I do this when I'm first working with a dog, Creeper, out, is I take a dog treat, something that the dog really likes, and I'll tell him, kennel. Good boy. So he goes in, he gets the treat. Now, when we're first starting, I may shut the door. And he knows just because it's open doesn't mean that he gets to come out. Okay, good. So, this is something that we've shaped with the dog over time, working on a release command. Another really good thing, if you're trying to add structure to your dog's daily life, is to add a leash. So, when you have a dog on a leash, you have control over the dog. So I have him right here on leash. He's not going to go over there and jump on people. He's not going to go over here and chew up things that don't belong to him. He's not going to be outside digging a hole in the backyard. While he's on this leash right here, he's with me. He's going to learn to be calm and be where I am. Now, if you've got a dog that you put a leash on them and they immediately start jumping all over you, bump them with your knee. Now that doesn't mean you kick them. You just take your knee and bump them off of you and tell them no. They'll stop. You can also put a prong collar on them. You can pop downward with the prong collar, and they're going to learn that jumping is uncomfortable. So jumping is a self-rewarding behavior, as is digging, stealing food off the counters, things like that. The dog is being rewarded for what the dog is doing. So it's very hard to break a behavior like that. The jumping, the reward there is being up close to your face, and then the dog gets attention because you start going, hey, stop that, I don't like that. The dog doesn't know what you're saying to him. The dog just knows, hey, she's paying attention to me, great. So one of the things that I have people do is an exercise called sit on the dog. And this is just kind of a prerequisite. I started out training this with all of my service dogs that I worked with. And eventually I found that it actually transferred over really well to everybody. And what does sit on the dog look like? This right here. That's it. There's no command that goes along with it. There's no good boy, no bad dog, sit down. There's nothing. We're just sitting here. I have control over the dog. I'm sitting on his leash, he's sitting here with me, he's not being a pain. The only time that I'm going to pay any attention to the dog whatsoever is if he starts digging, barking at something, or doing some other completely obnoxious thing. Right now he's laying his head in my lap. This is just a Creeper, he likes this. So unless this is a problem for the dog, I ignore it. I'm not going to start petting him immediately, because if you have a dog that does this, this is demanding attention. And so the opposite of attention is no attention. So I'm going to totally ignore this behavior, and it'll eventually extinguish itself. Most dogs, after the first 10 or 15 minutes, they'll lay down. Now, you can give them something to do while they're sitting here. Like I may give him a hoof to chew on. Now, he can't go anywhere with that hoof, but this is what we want. This is structure. This is what structure looks like. Structure means giving the dog some rules. Another thing that you can do for structure is to train your dog some commands. So, give it here. Instead of just taking a food bowl full of dog food and throwing it on the ground and giving it to your dog, measure out their food and take little handfuls at a time and tell them, sit. Creeper, come here, sit. Good. And he gets a piece of food and you dropped it. Creeper, come. Creeper, sit. Good. This is what our training sessions look like when I have dogs here for boarding. Creeper, come. Sit. Good. This is structure. This is what structure looks like. Nothing in life is free. So I don't just throw food on the floor and tell them, here you go, have a bowl of food. We do training during food time. So they're working for their food. They're getting rules. They're learning rules. They're being rewarded for obeying the rules. So turn your feeding time into training time, and you're going to have a much better behaved dog from it. You don't have to load your dog up with treats. I have a bag of treats here. I don't have a bowl of food, so that's what we're using. But you don't have to load your dog up with treats and get them fat. So use your kibble, measure out your kibble. There's no rule in any dog book somewhere that says that dogs have to have all of their nutrition out of a little stainless steel dog bowl or a pretty little bowl that says their name on it with bones on it. They can get the same exact nutrition out of your hand. If you have a really active dog, go get a Buster Cube or one of those toys that spits food out. Kong has a wobbler that's great for that, and it can burn some of their energy out. It's working their brain while they're getting fed. So, structure means rules. So keep that in mind when you have a dog. If you don't have any rules on your dog, you're gonna have a wild, chaotic dog doing whatever they want. So hope that helps somebody. Feel free to share the video and check us out on ZenDogTulsa.com. Thanks a lot.